So thank you so much for being here. Let me know how you're feeling. I want to know how you're having your Friday, wherever you are, just you being here, you listening, you tuning in is everything. And today's subject is really about, yes, it is it's all about how you can really detach from the thinking mind. But more than anything else, I really want to start off by asking you this question, and you can type that in the comment section. And I want you to know that it's absolutely a space where you can just lean in and be very, very honest. I want nothing but honesty in this space, okay? Who here is really hard on yourself? Would you consider that you're really, really hard on yourself? Like you're really, really hard, critical, you can be quite harsh on yourself, and you can be quite judgmental. And even though you may have some level of awareness that you're doing it, that's great as well, but you still catch yourself doing it. Like who here is that way? Like who here is hard on yourself? Let me know. I want to share the reason why I wanted to come on here to talk about this today. For all of you who are new to my world, welcome. As you know, my name is LiYing, and my work is really, really all about how, my passion lies first and foremost in how I can help share ancient wisdom so that it can be infused into your modern way of living. That is the very, very, very first passion of mine. As a Cha Dao ceremonial keeper, Cha Dao is the way of tea. It is always incumbent on me to say first and foremost that the way of tea is a modality, it is a method, right? But what really is the general the embodied spirit behind it all is a vortex of stillness. And that is why when I introduce myself, I always love to say that I'm here to light the way for multidimensional leaders to embody that vortex of stillness, so that you as the leader, you as the person who's leading yourself, so that you lead others, can live on purpose in your own authentic power. And you cannot do that when you are attached to your mind. You cannot do that in full expression, let's put it that way. When you are highly critical on yourself, when you're highly judgmental on yourself, because that will lead you to feel like you're not enough, that you're constantly out there chasing after something, that you're constantly hinged upon like who you are and what you are, your accolades, your validation is hinged upon circumstances that are external to you. So yes, you can have the riches, you can have the wealth, you can have all the things, right? All the things that society thinks that is important, that makes you someone, that makes people cast a different eye upon you. But it doesn't mean that you have a vortex of stillness. And I say this with all my heart because firstly, the reason why I started to explore this beautiful ancient way of tea was because I was personally living the life of my dreams. I was a small town girl from Malaysia, and I had a dream opportunity to first and foremost work in a luxury fashion magazine that I absolutely dreamt of working in, manifested one. And then secondly, after a couple of years, I had the opportunity to live in Hong Kong, to start a new life, to work in the media company that I dreamt of working in. So I was doing all the things that outwardly to people would have seemed like, wow, she's living her dream life. She's living in the hottest area in Hong Kong. She's got this amazing apartment. And I was going through my own struggles. If people had known me, I was not happy. I was never happy. I was going through my own health struggles. Some of you who have been with me here on this live before, you know that I had many years of struggles with anorexia. And while I was recovering, I discovered yoga, I discovered meditation. And for the first time, I had this life force awaken in me. I started to feel myself in my body again. And it set me down this curiosity of, wow, like I actually feel myself in my body for the first time after so many years of disconnection. And beyond that, when I'm meditating, when I had my Kundalini awakening, like I realized that I love this feeling. I can create anything in this space, this meditative space, this Zen state of mind, as they call it. However, when I step out of my room, everything just goes down the toilet, basically. Who's with me on that? Who's felt that before in their lives? You know, let me know. And it's almost like a split personality. Like I had this inclination, this interest in, you know, really honing my spirituality. I really wanted to understand as a human being, there's so much more than just living. And so spirituality was something that I dove into quite late in my life. And when I had that, I almost felt kind of like discombobulated, because it's like, there's this part of me, and then there's this part of me, and then there's this part of me. So my mind and my body and my spirit were not aligned. And so obviously there was this thing in me, and obviously it's the soul that is just saying so much to me that I couldn't hear. And so it felt almost like I was stuck. It felt almost like I was disillusioned. It felt like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what else I could do. And so I just literally sent this prayer out to the universe one night when I finished meditating. I remember looking out of the window of my Hong Kong apartment, and I said to the universe, I said, please show me a way, show me something, because I know there's so much more to this, so much more to this feeling like I don't know what it is. It feels like I can't seem to piece them together. And quite soon after that, I got an invitation to go to a tea ceremony. And that was the first time I remember feeling I have arrived home within me. It didn't matter where I was, I can take this with me wherever I was, this feeling of being home. And it was the first time in my entire life that I could feel that way. And it was immense. It was so big. It was so, it's just beyond description. And so that was the beginning of my journey, you know, initiating myself into a path that none of my closest kin have ever been on. Have I frozen? I'm just seeing your comment. Have I frozen? Let me know. You can still see me. Yeah, fine. Okay, cool, good. Thank you for letting me know. And I'll continue. Maybe that was the universe just speaking to Kat for a moment there. So I really felt that I have come home, and that feeling, I want to really describe it to you as this sensation of something landing in me. And I think it's important for me to kind of share that story before I dive deeper into this whole topic, because there's so much information out there. There's so much information here, right? Like you tune in on this channel, you tune in right here, and you're probably thinking, who is this? And then maybe you jump off into something else. Maybe you're rushing out, you're going somewhere, and you thought, maybe I'll just tune into something on my way. And then the information is received. Maybe you stay for the entire transmission. The information is received. But I always believe that's only just the first step. It's just the first step, because you can read a lot of books. You can know a lot of things. But it takes you and you alone to start to embody that. And I know the word embodiment probably has been thrown around for so many years, in so many different ways in this whole wellness arena. But in this space, what I want to share is that we come into spirituality, we come into the spiritual journey from many different doorways. You know, perhaps like me, you came in through a rock bottom. Perhaps some of you came in through just a curiosity, or maybe some of you came in through someone inspiring you. Maybe you came in because you felt that this is the way to get abundance in your life. Now that's a totally different subject. I'm going to go there in a bit. But what I really want to share is that once I began the practice of embodiment, it meant that I didn't just know. The knowledge became me, and I became the knowledge. And one of the beautiful aspects of the way, or you may know it as Tao, is that because there is no way to describe this ineffable great mystery, it is a felt sensation. Yeah. I can spend 24 hours, I can spend 2 days describing the Tao to you, and you will still have no idea what it is until you actually devote yourself to finding out what it is. And I know many of us come from different history, different conditioning, different upbringing. And I want to preface that the Tao is not religious. There's no dogma or doctrine behind it. And that is one of the reasons why I love this, this beautiful practice, this devotional path, because a lot of it is a deliberate, intentional non-doing. The way of tea from the outside looks like I'm drinking tea, right? I'm serving tea. I'm in a ceremony, I'm making tea, and I'm serving it to you. From the outside, that's what you see. But when the energy is moving inside, from the guest, from the host to the guest, from the guest to the host, the transmission is happening in the invisible realm, in the liminal space. And this is something I cannot, even if I dared to, I can't put it into words. And this is what I mean by the idea, or at least this is what I'm trying to explain about how it would feel like when you detach from the thinking mind. Because the thinking mind tends to criticize. The thinking mind is prone to judge. The thinking mind is here to create duality. This is the thinking mind that has not been trained. When the thinking mind is running wild and roaming free, the thinking mind believes that it is standing on its own and it needs to do all that it could to hold you down, to make sure you're anchored in this dimension, to make sure that you are alive, that you survive. That is the extent of what the thinking mind can do. What if we integrate the mind and the body and the spirit? What immense power can we unlock from there? Because the truth is, and we tend to forget this, because we're so in our minds, we're so in our heads, that we forget that without your health, without a functioning body, there is no thought about enlightenment, there is no time to think about purpose, there's no time to think about leadership. What leadership? I need to survive. I can't even think about, what food I need to eat because my body is not healthy, right? So that is the very basic level of taking care, of self-care and self-love that we tend to neglect until something crops up in our bodies, right? I mean, who's resonating with me? Let me know. So we want to remember that the body has been created by us, not to be denied. So when we speak about embodiment, I'm really talking about how we can open up this gateway to allow your spirit to enliven you, how to allow the spirit to come into full expression right here in this dimension. Because something that I observe very often when I'm working with clients who come into my world, they are all, like I said, multidimensional women. They are beautiful, beautiful women who really know they are here to leave a legacy. They're here to do great things. They want to serve at the highest level possible. The truth is they can be quite a perfectionist. They can be really, really hard on themselves. And I get it. I've been there. I've been in that space before. I've always been in there. And yes, it is through practice that I understand now what it means to be truly embodied. Because when you're embodied, you understand that at the end of the day, let's not be too serious, but also find freedom in form. You know, there's the saying in the Tao, in Taoist traditional medicine especially, we have this saying, and we even have these drawings of old men who turn back into children, tiny, tiny infants, and they're reborn again. And a lot of people mistake that as like some kind of alchemy or some kind of, some kind of magic, right? And perhaps it is, I don't know, I'm keeping an open mind. But in a very, very, very spiritual sense, what it really means is that when we rise to the level of understanding that we are literally so fluid, when we're in that state of understanding, of being at peace and in harmony and in alignment, we're so fluid. We're as fluid as the flowing waters of the river, and we are as stable as the stability of an ancient mountain. We also come back to a space, hello beauty, we also come back to a space where we have this return to innocence. It's that feeling that my clients always say to me when they come into an experience with me, they come into a ceremony where we start to do a lot of beautiful healing work together. They return to a state of innocence. From that space of just simply holding the bowl of tea, something is transmitted, something breaks open, right? This is why the way of tea is a method, it's a modality. And there are thousands and maybe even millions of modalities out there. It's just one of them. But it allows you to come back to what is true. Something that feels true. And I'm gonna go to a place now where I wanna ask a question, and I wanna see if you all resonate with this as well. I often hear this a lot, and I have also been one of those people who asked this question a lot back in the time when I was not awakened, when I was really believing that I had to do everything on my own, that if I loved someone, if they don't love me, I'll be crushed. So I might as well say, well, I knew that was not going to happen anyway, and I protect myself from the disappointment. So who has done this before, and who is really good at doing this right now? Let me know that. Who does this thing of like, if okay, so I really, really want to do that. I really, really want to jump into this mentorship. I really want to up level. I really want to be in that container with these amazing high level people that I know I resonate with, I aspire with. But I'll do it when I get a bonus this year, or like when I get 2 more clients, or when my children have grown up. When my child has arrived at teenage years, then I will consider going to this place or doing that thing I really want to do. Like who here does that, right? I have a lot of compassion for this. I get where you're coming from. And I also want to ask you, what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting? And your mind is going to go into this havoc. It's going to be like, yeah, because if I go away, then they would not, they won't survive. Like, I need to take care. I have to, this is my responsibility. Or like, I don't have enough. I don't have the money. I can't do that. Like, are you crazy? And I'm speaking to the leader. I'm speaking to the leader in you. I'm speaking to the highest self behind the woman who's sitting right here. And I speak to women, but I know there are men here, if perhaps, I don't know. I want you to know that if you truly embody your fullest expression, and if you truly are committed, if you're truly devoted to this path, and you're saying, no matter what, this is who I am, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for me to become the best version of this. If that is you, you won't be looking towards external circumstances to hone your craft. You won't be depending on what's going to happen. You're not going to depend on the cause for the effect to take place. And I say this because I've been through this. From building my business from scratch, literally doing donation-based tea ceremonies, to where I am right now, leading and mentoring divine women, doing 6 figures, 7 figures. It is absolutely all about staying the course. It's about how big can I feel this in my body? Are there any fears holding me back? Can I work with all of my being? Or am I running wild and I'm going by the agenda of my thinking, overthinking, logical mind? Because when we train our mind, and that's why I talk about this all the time, we have to train the mind. Whether you do yoga, whether you do qigong, tai chi, whether you do kung fu or meditation of your own, you have to train the mind. And the reason why I love the way of tea is because we don't just sit around and philosophize things. And this is the one thing I see so often in the spiritual space that I'm just like, oh my God, because so many people out here are talking and talking and talking and talking. We're talking all the time. We're talking about abundance. We're talking about manifesting. We're talking about freedom. We're talking about how we can take the path of least resistance. We're talking about how we can live on purpose. We're talking about soul purpose, light workers, blah, 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 blah. But how many of us actually do the thing we need to do? Growth is inconvenient because you have to stretch, you have to expand beyond what's comfortable to grow. So no, it's not just sitting around and philosophizing. In the way of tea, we sit because we experience it. We feel the spirit move through us. We feel the guidance. We're not just here and thinking and visualizing and visioning and then we forget. It's something that in the medicine of the tea, it moves us. And when we bring our spirit to the ceremony, we bring our presence. When there is presence, there is healing. When there is presence, there is actioning. When there's presence, there's intention. So that's why it moves people more than any kind of meditation can. Because, and I'm not saying just do this and you're great. No, because it is an ongoing evolution. And I talk about this all the time. It's never ending. It's a lifetime's masterpiece. Who you are, what you do, it's a lifetime's masterpiece. And there's only one way through, embodiment. You want to be successful in your life? You want to do what you love and love doing it and get paid for it? You want to have the most spectacular relationship with somebody who is really aligned with your vision, who supports you? Then really turn inward. Ask yourself, how have you been supporting yourself? How have you been running away from yourself? How have you been escaping with the mind somewhere else, Netflixing, not looking at your feelings, not feeling? How many of you have been numbing yourself, telling yourself, someday I'm gonna do this, someday, or like, I'm so scared, maybe another time. I'm not ready yet. Let me pick up another modality. Let me learn another thing. Let me read another book before I go out there and do this. I honestly, yesterday, I was with my private client and I told her, I want you to take messy action. Go take messy action, because that is the only way you can understand what you like, what you don't like, what you can do now, what feels authentic for you. In the line of work I do, the Way of Tea has opened a lot of doorways for me. Besides the Way of Tea, I also take my clients through modalities like Taoist healing, bioenergetics. We build energy circuits in our bodies, because when the circuits are built through breath work, through using the mind, feeling, emotional mastery, when you build the circuits, you can perceive more. You know the saying, opportunities are all around you? The reason why you can't perceive the opportunity, the reason why you only can see what you're seeing, and you might just see poverty, you might see lack, you might see scarcity, and you intellectually you understand there's abundance, but you keep struggling. You're like, I don't know, what does it mean? I don't have abundance. I've tried everything. No, you haven't tried everything. You know why? Because your circuits are not fired up, you're not embodied, and this is just merely a sign. You just have to become more embodied. That's it. How do we do that? We begin by coming into our bodies. We begin to work with our breath. We begin to work with our presence. It is so important to talk about this, because we want a lot of things in life. We want to live this way or have that mansion, do that thing, fly everywhere, be a globetrotter, have the most spectacular love story in the world. We want to be magnetic. We want to be incredibly loved. We want to be unforgettable. But how many of us actually stay the course when the going gets tough? There needs to be a perception switch, a shift here when the going gets tough. The going feels tough because the mind thinks it's tough. It's interesting, I don't know if any of you have experienced this before. When I do a new yoga pose, and it feels like a stretch, when it feels like, ooh, this is hard, it's often the mind that goes first. It's like the mind says, maybe it's not a good idea because you're gonna maybe twist your ankle, you're not gonna, not safe. It's often the mind that goes first, not the body. The body is still holding the pose. It's still right there. But the mind goes first. And it takes a trained soul for you to bring out your inner highest self, to say, thank you, mind, but I know what you're doing here. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to embrace you. I can hear you perfectly. But I know my body can take this a little bit more. And if I don't think, if it really feels like a stretch, I will stop. I know. And it is this balance that we need to find to regain our purpose, to regain a sense of inner peace. That vortex of stillness is within you. When you take action from that stillness, it is aligned. It is devotional. It is intentional. And it doesn't even need to take anything more than just that aligned action. We are all scrambling like headless chickens sometimes. We're like, oh my God, like somebody messaged me today and they say that they might buy something from my shop, or they might buy a package from me. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Maybe I should drop them another note. Maybe I should give them a discount. Oh my God, why aren't they paying up yet? Oh my God, why? Some of the things that go through my clients' mind all the time. But what if you are coming from a vortex of stillness? What if you work on anchoring yourself and being that stillness? Knowing that you are enough, that your presence is so magnetic and powerful, that whoever wants to come into your world and work with you and be in relationship with you, they are here to rise to meet you. You are a leader. You have to lead yourself first through those times when you think, or your mind thinks, you cannot push through. You have to lead yourself through the times when your mind is saying, I gave it my all, but why isn't that for me? Why did they break up with me? Why did they fire me? Why didn't this work? Why did this business break down? Why did this partnership collapse? This comes back to the question of things that are in harmony with your true nature. And yes, I can't explain everything to you because I don't know. I'm flawed. I'm a human being. But what I do know is when I open myself up to be the vessel for Tao to flow through me, magical things happen in the space that I hold. Clients have marriages that have been saved, transformed, bodies that were healed, mindsets that were shifted, because there is a greater mystery at work and we don't have the answers to everything. But what I do know is when something feels like it's not working for you right now, I know it is happening in your favor. And some of you may hear this and you want to slap me in the face, but trust me, I come from a place where I had nothing really at all. My business was like this. I was in scarcity. I was in lack. But I decided that I'm going to do this no matter what, because it is my destiny. I heard it so clearly, this heavenly mandate from tea spirit, from the bowl of tea I was holding the first time I had tea. In ceremony, I heard her tell me, you have to go out and serve. You have to drop everything you know and go out and serve tea. I can't explain that. I can't explain where it came from. But I'm following through. I'm training myself. And this is the thing I see often. People jump from one modality to another. Jack of all trades, master of none. And so I told myself, I'm going to master this. I'm going to connect all the dots. I'm going to constellate this space that I want to hold for true transformation to come through. Not just for myself, but for everyone else who come into my world, who need my help, who want to be better, who want to live on purpose, who want to be authentic when they're doing it. And when I say authentic, when I say be authentic, I really mean, what is your edge now? Not the edge of someone who told you, like, I don't know, like you heard on the podcast saying, yeah, push yourself to the limit, spend 1 million on a mentorship, spend 200,000 on a mentorship. No, I'm saying, what is your edge now? For example, If my client told me, I want to launch a package and I want to charge 20,000. My question is, okay, great, go for it. Are you investing that amount in yourself? Are you willing to invest in that amount in yourself? Investing in yourself, no matter what. Investing in your mind, body, and spirit, no matter what. No matter where you are. It's not about rigidly staying in a structured routine. But what I'm saying is devotion. Doing what you can today. That is why I always say my words I want you to remember today. Self-love is the stability of a mountain and the formlessness of flowing river. Let me say that again. Self-love is the stability of a mountain and the formlessness of the flowing river. We have to get out of the head thinking that we are either or. We're not. We're both. We're spirit and matter. We're yin and yang. We are light and darkness. When there's chaos, there's also tranquility. We have to start to shift our perception. We have to shift out of the overthinking mind. We have to shift out of reliance on circumstantial power. Nothing outside of you can give you power. Yes, outside you might feel, I have this Cartier on my finger. I have the hundreds of clients. They make who I am. They make my identity. You might think that. But what if one day all of these things are taken away? What if one day these things are gone? Poof. That's why there is so much fear around death. Because the idea of death feels like forgetfulness. People will forget who we are. It means that it's the end of who we are. But if we detach from the mind just for a moment here and we drop into our heart, if we remember our true authentic power within, if we can begin to allow that vortex of stillness to grow bigger and bigger, nothing can sway us. Nothing can push us down. Everything can keep changing. We keep changing form. We're going from one vessel to another. But we are timeless. We are timeless. That's why we continue to evolve. We don't stop. We don't stop. That's when you grow old, but you grow wiser, and you don't get hung up on, I'm too old for this. You don't get hung up on back in the day, I used to be like that. That's when you near your deathbed and you know it's time. Because you are in harmony and you've done everything in your fullest expression. You know you've done it. And your legacy will live on. Because your spirit has left a mark on this earth. So how do you want to live? You want to live attached to your thinking mind, playing small because you're so afraid of disappointment? So afraid of being broken? Or do you want to live in your fullest expression? Really walking your talk as the leader. Become the master of your life. Become the master of your emotions. Know how to master energy. Know how to train your mind so that it is entrained upon what matters, which is the mastery of allowing your soul to express itself here on earth, in this dimension. That is what the mind is here to do. It's not here to spew and memorize and just recite off all the things you read in a book about how to be a shaman. The mind is here to help you live as the soul who is limitless, the soul who is truly abundant, the soul who is free. Free to live, free to be. If all of us did that, imagine what a world it would be. And it starts from us. It doesn't start from, oh, I'm going to change that person. No. Oh, I want more freedom. I'm going to wait for the government to give it to me. No. It starts from us. As we become more discerning, we free ourselves. We free our voice. We free ourselves just by being the presence. Our energy speaks everything. Our energy is so potent. Have you ever walked into a room and you're like, God, I feel a lot of conflict in here. Ooh. That's energy speaking. In the same way, you can bring your heart energy, your heart coherence, the power of your love into every single room you walk into. It's true. Learn to master it. If this information resonates with you and you want to learn more, go to the link in my bio. I've got free resources, I've got a mentorship, I've got private immersions. I want you to get what you need. So just DM me, check in. Devote yourself to mastery. Devote yourself to intuitive mastery, which is great because the Way of Tea is all about intuitive mastery. It's a skill, it's an embodied way of living. It's truly the way. It's all about being aligned with Tao, the way. Tao is the way. Being embodied. Your presence is you. So work on your presence and everything else will line up. No doubt about it. If you feel wobbly, things around you will be wobbly. If you feel like, why is this person or this kind of people always coming into my life? Check in with yourself. Check in with yourself where in your life you're not supporting yourself, where in your life you're not seeing yourself, where in your life you're not investing in yourself. Okay? So give yourself full permission to light your soul on fire today. And I want to hear your story. I want to hear how it goes. Please drop me a DM. Let me know what you're feeling if you want to share. Thank you so much. Thank you, Meg. It's about time for me to wrap up as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And thank you so much if any of you donate as well. I truly appreciate you. Thank you. And for all of you who are watching, I send you so much love. Raquel, thank you. Thank you for your words. I feel empowered. That's everything to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Samantha. All right, beauties. Sending you all so much love. I can't wait to be back again soon. Have a beautiful weekend and blessings.